not only completing 1,000 marathons, but doing so in a faster average time than any other human on Earth. Nicknamed the Machine by his peers, this superhuman runner could never have imagined such a feat, growing up in the hardscrabble world of 1960s England.
I was born in Coventry, and money was hard earned, and you had to work hard to achieve things. I stood out because I was different. I was born with a deformed left hand. It dented my confidence at times. As I look back over those years, it helped with my mental strength because it was to serve me well for the sport that I eventually took up. I saw a poster one day advertising the first marathon in my hometown, and something just made me think, oh, you know what, I fancy having a go at that. I had no idea how to train or prepare for a marathon. Ignorance was bliss. I got to the finish just outside my 3.5 hours time, and it was amazing. The feeling and camaraderie with other runners and what I'd achieved. You know, I thought I'd conquered the world. The next day was a bit different when I couldn't walk, and I actually vowed never again. And little did I know, my life at that point had changed forever. A year later, I ran another marathon, and a year after that, another marathon, and that's the way it started. And then by the late 1980s, I set myself a goal of running a marathon a month with the objective of doing 12 marathons.
3, 2, 1, go!
I remember running my first marathons a week apart. I'd never done anything like that before, so that was a real baptism of fire.
Banana on the next lap.
And I'd started to learn a lot about nutrition by then. It was like a jigsaw. The pieces were starting to fall into place about how to run marathons on a regular basis and be able to recover from them.
Yeah, what about diet? Just eat lots of food, basically, and then burn it off. That's right, yeah.
I ran 20 marathons that year, not 12. And I was hungry for more.
Edwards, at the age of 29, the youngest person to complete 100 marathons.
My overall aim is going to break the world record for the most marathons ever by one man. That's 524, so there's no way I'm going to be stopping.
I've always collected some sort of award, whether that be a medal or a cup or a lace or a plate, and the early medals just sort of here. Tried to put everything in chronological order.
Steve kept raising the bar higher. But with great reward comes great risk. As he relentlessly pushed the limits of body and mind, eventually those limits began to push back.
In the spring of 1991, I decided I was going to have a crack for this record for running the most marathons in a year.
Deep down in everyone's hearts, they'd want to do something out of the ordinary while they're alive, and I've just chosen to sort of break this world record. It seems daft, but you know, I'm young enough and fit enough to do it, so I'll give it a good crack.
A year is a long time to be running marathons back to back every single weekend. And driving back from a marathon in Holland was coming back through Belgium. I was very tired, as I always was. I fell asleep at the wheel. I hit the central reservation, and that's the last thing I remember happening. My guardian angel must be looking down on
me. Steve recovered from the accident and still set the record that year with a staggering 87 marathons. But more setbacks followed. Physical ailments, the COVID lockdown, and the death of his father, forcing him time and again to consider the viability of his quest.
I was beginning to question, blimey, is this all worth it?
But in the midst of those struggles, Steve met the muse who would reignite the flame of his marathon passion.
Teresa became my rock, not just a wife and best friend, but somebody who's dedicated herself to being by my side, being there for me, being part of this journey.
There have been times when he's wanted to sort of throw the towel in, and I have had to sort of talk him out of it and make him see sense, because I just thought if he didn't see this through to the end, he may well regret it years down the line. We make a great team.
Steve kept pushing further, faster, and the records kept falling. Soon, only one major milestone remained. But as he stacked medal upon medal, inching closer to the grandest finish line of all, one crucial question lingered. Could his aging body keep pace with his lofty goals?
Had a good run?
Good run, yeah.
Good. Make you a nice cup of tea.
Thank you. I felt a desire and a determination to discover just what a human body is capable of achieving. Extreme amounts of marathons, extreme mileage, that takes its toll on the body. So nutrition started to become ever more important. The introduction to Manatech products for me was a game changer. I found I was able to run marathons at an even greater frequency. That definitely enabled me to push on to the 1,000 in a much faster time relative to my age than I would have ever hoped for.
On the 6th of May 2024, Steve Edwards stood at the final starting line of his epic journey, just 26.2 miles from marathon immortality.
I was really, really hurting. It had been hurting the last 2 or 3 races, but nevertheless, I mean, there's no way I wasn't going to finish this race. I think if I'd have broken my leg, I'd have still crawled to the finish line. This was the end. I was happy that I'd achieved this goal, but I was also relieved that it was over.
It took Steve Edwards 29 years to run his first 500 marathons, but only 14 more to complete the next 500. His average time across all 1,000? A record-setting 3 hours, 21 minutes and 47 seconds.
The 3 official Guinness World Records are firstly for the most marathons in a year, secondly for the fastest 10 marathons in 10 days, and thirdly for the fastest average time to run 1,000 marathons. The very first marathon I ran was in Coventry, and that was all I received, a paper certificate with my name and my time on, but I've treasured it to this day. If I hadn't have run that marathon that day, I wouldn't be standing here, record holder of 1,000 marathons.
After a lifetime of highs and lows, pain and perseverance, Steve Edwards is content with what he's accomplished and grateful to spend more time with the woman who helped him reach the finish line.
The ground is very dry, isn't it? Can you have the water?
I felt that I'd achieved a whole lot more than I could have ever imagined, but it's time to let go and enjoy some of the other things in life.
He's a man who was driven, and he saw it through to the end, and I'm super proud of him.
I'm still running, as is Teresa. What we enjoy now is doing shorter distances.
We're doing more travelling and just enjoying one another's company and not being so focused on running marathons.
Life is full of ups and downs. We had setbacks, things went wrong, but I think that's all part of life's rich tapestry.
It's very hard work, but at the end of the day, it's all worked out really well. And I do enjoy running, and I get to see a lot of places around the world and make a lot of new friends.
It's certainly taught me a huge lesson that a person can achieve amazing things if they really do put their mind to it.